Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to TeamSport at Stoke with the electric go-karts. Now if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the channel and turning on your notifications. I really would appreciate it and it would help you to not miss my videos. Now this video is the second of the two sessions at TeamSport in Stoke. This was my first time driving the electric karts and my first time at Stoke. Firstly, I will add the same apology as before. The wind noise on this, obviously without the engine to drown it out, is slightly higher, so apologies for any excess wind noise that you hear. So this track proved to be quite a slippery one, particularly with the almost instant torque of the electric motors. I'd spent the first session getting used to the new driving position. You sit slightly higher and you're more centred. Normally when you're in a go-kart, you're off, for the adult karts you're off to the left, you sit slightly to the left with the engine on your right. For the cadet karts you normally sit slightly to the right with the engine off to the left. But in the case of these electric karts, that's not the case because you are sitting on top of the battery pack with the motor slightly off to your right, but not enough. It's smaller than the engine, so it doesn't affect your seating position, and you are able to sit centrally. You do sit higher as you are sitting on top of the battery packs. And yes, this concrete in particular was very slippery. There is some grip takedown, but wasn't really helping much, and everyone was sliding around a little bit. So if you haven't watched the first video, please do go back to that one, link in the top right corner there now. So my target was to just beat my previous lap time. I'd set a 36.4 and yeah, my aim was to get down into the low 36s, possibly even break into the 35s. I didn't know the track, I knew it was very slippery still, and the group in front, the group that I'm with rather, were slow to start with. This time thankfully they did go out and did keep on the pace that they were on previously. This was a good fun session, and towards the end I got myself into a battle with another driver, and I've compared our lap times, and despite every lap me being quicker, I could not find a way past. So stick around to the end to watch that. That's on the last 5-6 laps. So as we've made it 5 laps in already, we've been where I wanted to be, around that 36-second lap time. We've already got faster, because we're getting into our low 36s, which is where I wanted to be. So it's just a case of finding some clear space, minding the spun out karts. I'll just pause for this quick red flag here. So just a quick one while they cleared that spun kart who couldn't recover himself, and back under yellow flags. I don't know why, but I seem to have gone full pace under that yellow flag, so I'm disappointed in myself there, especially as there was a marshal on the track. But we went green and back underway. Obviously this one's a slow lap, we had the red flag period, and now it's time to clear the karts in front and see what we can do. By this point I started to get used to driving the electric karts. Very much a different driving style. I felt that you had to be slightly more aggressive with the steering. You can't, driving them smooth doesn't seem to work quite so quickly. It's not, as in it's not such a quick line, it doesn't work so well for us. Maybe there's a better way to do it, I don't know, but that's how I managed to get it working. Watching this video back, I have seen that I'm turning in far too early for the bottom 2 hairpins. So down this one, I could do turning in a bit later, although in that case, that one worked out alright. This one, in this instance, that was better because I was avoiding the kart on my inside anyway, as I clipped that outside barrier. And again, this one, so there's 3 hairpins in total where on a clear lap I think I'm turning in slightly too early. Could do with a later turn in to get a later apex to get a straighter out. This I seem to do fairly smoothly because the wood is slightly grippier. This I'm just keeping it planted and it just understeers itself and grips itself round. Bit of understeer and then it grips, bit of understeer and then it grips again as you come down the ramps. For another yellow flag, for another spun out kart. Looks like they've taken each other out possibly. Gone very slow this time, so there's a marshal on the track. So this guy in front here with the grey helmet is the one that I end up in a battle with. But there's a bit of stuff going on ahead. I was pointing at the lights because a kart appeared on my left and was about to pass, and I'm like, we're under yellows. We're under yellows, you should not be passing. Those two go past, and I go once it goes green. Slightly disappointing in their behaviour, although I guess in this case they were waved past, I'm not sure why. But yeah, they shouldn't be doing that at all. He ended up hitting the barriers quite hard. I gave him a quick thumbs up, but he clearly got himself going again as there was no flag. It was a good attempt at defending his position there, but in this case, with the slipperiness of that corner, it just wasn't going to work for him. So if you watch this section here, you'll see how quickly I do catch up to this cars in front. And every lap, comparing the two, every lap I do seem to be faster. But when it comes to it, and I do eventually get onto the back of him a little bit later on in this session, I just cannot find a way past. Someone got distracted by a marshal waving a board at them, and it was easier just to stop and avoid rather than try and go around at full pace, especially as the marshal was to the edge of the track. That happened quite often. This kart in front did like to slide himself into the corners and catch everyone out. As we were all trying to go fast, he's going very slowly. I expected it on that one. Anticipated it, I think is the right word. Hadn't caught him enough anyway to worry about it on that one. I've clipped those outside barriers again as I've slid around that slide, that corner, and yeah, got caught out again as he's taking this really odd drifty line. The guy with the grey helmet manages to sneak up the inside of me and then up the inside of the guy in the purple suit. And now I'm just going to stick to the back of him and see if we can find a way past. This is the point now where we've got the rest of the race pretty much clean. There's a little bit of traffic ahead, and I'm just sitting on the back of this kart, catching, dropping back, catching, dropping back. But every time I do catch, I just cannot work out how to get around him. He takes some parts of the layout he's very quick, others he's very slow, and that's how I catch him. But unfortunately, by the time I catch him in his slow bits, it's when he then gets onto one of his fast bits where he is actually faster than me. It was a good little battle, and at the end of the session, we actually had a good old chat about it. And he was genuine. He said, "Was I slowing you down?" And I gave a straightforward answer of, "No, I don't think so, but I don't care, because I had a lot of fun." It turns out, yes, he was slowing me down. I didn't quite get a consistent set of quick laps in that probably would have meant I would have broken through that 36-second mark into those 35 laps, which was my target, and I didn't do that in this session. But look how I'm just sitting behind him. He's sliding around, and I'm just not got the racecraft to... There was no speed difference there, so I couldn't quite go for a dive and make it work, and that was the first lap where I'd been watching him closely. We got traffic ahead, and I take a think about it. I tried to type a line, but unfortunately it just doesn't work out there. Had another think there, but he also was worried about the kart in front. Kart in front gives a spin, I give a tap where we change lines, and he outdrags me off the ramp. There's clearly some form of weight difference between us, as he definitely gets up those ramps quicker than I do. But I'm catching him again, starting to close up that gap, and it's when I get onto the back of him. Now, obviously one of the things you're meant to do is not necessarily focus on the car in front, and I definitely know, as we just avoid the spun out kart under yellow flags, I definitely know that I was focusing on his back bash bar essentially, not where I should have been looking. I should have still been focusing on me, keeping a rough eye on where he is, but I should be focusing on me, my lines, my braking points, my reference points. So that's definitely an issue that I need to work on. Now, looking through the times, there was a second a lap between us still most of the time, so I don't quite understand how, with such a difference in time, that I wasn't able to find a way past, and it was consistently I was faster, as another car clearly tried to stick themselves up the inside under a yellow flag, or at the end of the yellow flag there. They shouldn't have even caught up under the yellow flag. Now, I assumed, towards the end of this session, I assumed this guy was the guy in first place, because I did not have the fastest lap on this session. I came in second, so I assumed that this guy was the guy in first place, or second place on the previous session. But it turns out he was down in 6th place. So there were karts going around quicker than us, and it just baffles me how I could not get past. I was so close every time, and I just could not find a way through. So this is actually my fastest lap, also his fastest lap, but his fastest lap was not as fast as mine. His was a 38.014, that's compared to my 36.203. How? I was on his back the whole time round that lap. Maybe there was more of a gap at the beginning, and I've obviously closed it up. But to be almost 2 seconds apart there, over the course of the lap, how did I not find a way past? Now, as we go on to the final lap, we start with the gap, and it stays consistent through the first few corners. Stays consistent coming back down the ramp. Closes up a little through the few hairpins, and then obviously opens up again as he gets to accelerate quicker than I. And I genuinely think that despite the lap time difference, this is all down to the fact the weight difference means he just accelerates quicker, and so I can't outdrag him from the corner. Anyway, thanks for joining us as always, guys. This is the end of the session. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, leave a comment, and join me again next week, where we'll probably be back at Sheffield. Now, at the end of this, when we did arrive in the pits, this chap did turn around and give me a bit of a thumbs up as we came to a stop. And we had a nice little chat. We had, just as we got out of the carts, we had a little chat, and then we had another chat in the bar afterwards as well, because they didn't have the apps to see their lap times, so I just showed them their lap times and stuff. Good bit of fun. I really enjoyed that session. So thanks for joining us. Cheers.